Welcome back, nerds, to episode 48 of the Nerd Chills podcast. This is Adam Diaz, and with me, as always, is CJ. How you doing, CJ?
I am doing great. It's nice to be back on our regular night. Doesn't feel awkward. Like
for 1 week.
For 1 week, we'll see how it goes.
For 1 week, yep. We get a time here at Nerd Chills.
That's how we do it. Sitting in the third chair is Charlie. Welcome back, Charlie.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. And sitting in the fourth chair, making her triumphant return, is Robin Grace. Welcome back, Robin.
Hello.
I don't think we have any Japanese names that we're going to need you to help us pronounce.
Oh, did you guys ruin some in the past episode?
Every episode
Sure
you
did.
Here, there's a Japanese name that I butcher. So thank you for your absence. We don't appreciate that.
Oh, cool.
We have a great show for you lined up. We're going to go over what we believe to be the biggest story in the world of nerd over the past year. The month of December is going to be a lot of blank of the year topics, which is going to be really fun. But starting off like we normally do, I'm going to start with Charlie because she's making the best eye contact. What have you been playing this week?
I played a lot of stuff this week.
Oh, shit.
So I played Animal Crossing because they're doing their Christmas event.
I have almost everything. I'm so excited.
Really?
Yeah,
I have
played way
like
too much.
half of stuff. I haven't been as avid as I should be. But I've been playing Animal Crossing, and then I played a lot of Sims because I got Sims 4 for console, which is, just normal.
Is it true you can put a sim into a room and then remove the door and they will shit in the corner?
Oh, sure, yeah, probably.
Wow,
I haven't
that's
tried
horrible.
it yet.
It's just kill them in the pool. Just put them in the pool and take out the ladder.
I've had a really hard time getting my Sims laid or any money. It's been pretty sad for them. It's too much like real life, quite
Oh,
I was
frankly.
going to say, like, welcome to the real life. 6.
So then I played Elder Scrolls on VR, which I think they did as the best they could with the controls for that, but it was still a little disorienting. And then, because you can look around or you can hit like the bumper to move your orientation.
Yeah.
And then,
Is it glitchy, like stuttery?
no, not
Because that's
really.
how Biohazard was, I think.
It's kind of like chunk. Like it's not stuttery really.
Where it's like
but-
45-degree angle turns.
Exactly.
Were you using the controller or were you using the 2 joysticks?
I don't have the joysticks.
I wonder if it would change your experience if you had the joysticks. Because when I played whatever that VR game was where you got to shoot, when I was
Yeah.
using the joystick, I was like, this is terrible. And then when I used the actual 2 Joy-Cons or whatever you call them, I was like,
The
this is
move
fucking
controllers.
amazing. Because I could
controllers,
like use one as a hand to grab a clip and load the gun and cock it. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is so much more fun.
It's funny that you say that because I think Elder Scrolls can be played either way, but Doom, I was reading reviews for Doom on VR, and they were like, it's god-awful.
Really?
Like, they said
Wow.
it was terrible. The controls just ruined it.
That sucks.
But anyways, I played that. I will say, like, graphically, it looked like Morrowind.
So graphically, it wasn't amazing.
It was not amazing.
Jason would be so sad.
Aw.
Yeah. But I did I got as far as I got in Skyrim originally. In Skyrim
Is
VR.
that very
This is
far?
the first
No,
town.
it's like an hour in.
You got out of the dragon attack and you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's all I needed.
Yeah, so I did that. I played a little bit of L.A. Noire, and then I played an like action adventure platform. Ah, yes, Lenore.
Shout out to all our
Lenore.
Italian listeners. Our previous episode had like 40 downloads from Italy.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Lenore.
They're our biggest international market right now. We love you guys.
And then I played. What else did I play? Oh yeah, I played this. I got this platforming game called Poi on Switch a while back. It's
Poi.
fun. It's just like a action adventure, but I like it so far. You collect coins and junk.
Right on.
Nice.
And then I played. Oh yeah, I played Overcooked. Have you guys ever played Overcooked single player?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult than
It
playing
is
with someone
the
else.
hardest shit I have ever been a part of.
Everything takes twice as long to cook, right? And you have to use your bumper to switch which character you are.
So the chopping takes twice as long for sure.
Oh.
I don't know
Ugh.
about the cooking, but the chopping takes forever. And yeah, you have to bumper between them. And I was trying to get further along in the campaign. And I got to the one where it's like 3 different cars that move. And I was like, this is impossible. Like, I couldn't even get to 1 star. It was the hardest thing ever. Like, I'd rather play Cuphead.
We could just
Wow.
all play together. We can 4-player that shit, dude.
Yeah, I have it on Switch
should do
and
that.
on Xbox.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
I'm
I
interested.
really love Overcooked.
I
think
want
it's
to play with people.
an amazing game. It almost was on my game of the year last year. I really, really liked Overcooked.
Yeah. I think that might be it.
Right on. Bouncing over to Missouri. CJ, what have you been playing this week, bro? I know one thing because you posted it out on the Nerd Chills thing, and I got super excited about it.
Yeah. It's the same stuff I was playing last week. And it's the same stuff I'll be playing. I've just been playing Call of Duty more and more, trying to keep grinding out and get better so I can start making money again.
Nice. So your 4v4 tournament was Thursday?
We had one on. No, we had one. We played one last night, and then there was one. No, was it Thursday night? No,
I don't know.
It was
I
last
just remember
night. Yeah,
seeing
it was
it and
last
being
night.
like, oh, shit.
I can't remember because I was up till like 4 a.m. Anyway, it was definitely it was last night, and then we played one on Sunday morning, and Sunday morning one didn't go too well, and the one last night, out of the 10 rounds, we made it to round 6, so that's definitely some improvement.
Cool. That's really good. Dude.
So, super happy. We're getting there. There's a lot more strategy to it that we need to try to figure out because sometimes we just start to freak out and run around, and that's when things get real bad. So once we
It goes
can
from
get
like
that
SEAL Team
out,
6 to Monty Python real quick.
yeah, real
Run
bad.
away.
So once we can get that figured out, we'll be good. But
Benny Hill music.
it's I've added in a couple phone games just playing while I'm at work. There's this new game I was playing called Lionheart Dark. No, hold on.
Boner Patrol
Lionheart
9000.
Lionheart Dark Moon. It's just a little like I guess adventure game where you unlock extra heroes and stuff like that and go around and just kill things basically. So it's been fun.
Right on. Well, that's
pretty
good
much
stuff.
it.
It's pretty intense. I've not competed in professional tournaments, I don't think, ever before. Maybe a couple times in poker, but not in video games.
They don't want
Poker's
me, I know.
intense. Poker
Poker
is
is
an
very
intense
intense. Yeah, it's
thing to go try to compete against people against.
But yeah, when I did the professional poker tournaments, I waited until I moved to Las Vegas to do them rather than doing them in Northwest Indiana where the competition is much less fierce.
Yeah.
And it was everything I could do to just break even. I cashed a couple of times and then I finished out of a field of like 60, like 47th. And that's when I realized the amount of time and money I'd have to invest into making it feasible to actually do something as a professional in that field was far too much, especially for someone who was in between jobs. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore.
Congratulations for realizing it, though. I mean,
I-
a lot of people probably don't.
No, I mean, it was always something in the back of my head where it's like, this takes a lot of time, which I'm fine with, but the amount of money, considering I would go into tournaments with rebuys, because everywhere in Vegas has rebuys for their tournaments, so people are just dumping their chip stack to try and, like, double up. And I would walk in and be like, I don't have the money for a rebuy. I have enough money for 3 tournaments. I can't do a rebuy at all if I lose my chips, so I'd have to, like, be very conservative when everyone else is playing very aggressive. So it makes things completely different, and I couldn't find any tournaments except for very expensive ones where there wasn't a rebuy if you got
Outed.
everything taken out. Yeah,
You'd probably be better off, like, looking at games and machines, if there are any still that exist, that are, like, the highest payout or, like, the highest potential to win. That's what my parents used to do when we first moved here. They exclusively played Deuce is Wild because that was, in their research, the best chance of winning, and we like always had like comped everything, and they sometimes made money on it. So like worst case scenario, they broke even most times.
when I got out here, I was like, if I'm going to gamble, it'll be against other people and not against the house, because I just don't believe in gambling against a casino, because the best odds in the casino are usually 19 to 1 or 25 to 1. So I'm like, yeah, fuck
That's
that.
fair.
I'd rather gamble against someone else who could make a mistake or play stupid and just be
What
me
if
against
you're the
them.
one that plays stupid?
Then you finish 47th and you stop playing. Plain and simple. So, Robin, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Animal Crossing. What is it? Pocket Camp. Pocket Camp. Yeah, I've been playing that, and I started playing Overwatch yesterday and today because I'm like stupid and didn't check what date the Christmas event was going to start, so I just keep checking because I want the Christmas skins. And what else have I been playing? We stopped playing Scott Pilgrim because we're on the last boss, and it's really fucking hard.
And you and your sister were
Yeah.
imbibing in those cheat codes.
Oh yeah, all them cheat codes.
And still could not win.
and
That is a
still
very
couldn't
difficult
win.
game.
Yeah, it's very hard. And I think that's it, really.
Right on.
Yeah, just so much Animal Crossing.
I know you had a midterm that was due way too late because your professor is worthless, and like 6 other papers due this week.
Yeah, I still have a lot of stuff I have to do.
So
But-
yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, thanks for
Uh,
joining us then. If you're so
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I was playing Overwatch today, and I shouldn't have been. But
that's very funny. Lots of crocheting going on. so
yeah, lots of
that.
crocheting. So many octopi. Is
Octopi.
that how you
There's
say
a
it?
yeah,
Okay.
There's a septopus.
Yeah, I made a septopus on accident.
It's okay. He's my favorite. He's my Island of Misfit toy.
Aw.
As
Oh
for
my god,
myself,
so much Christmas.
all right. As for myself, played a little bit of This Is the Police.
Oh yeah,
It's very fun. It's like a simulation where you just send people out on missions and stuff like that.
I love that game.
And it basically, when I started the game, because I was already kind of corrupt, you basically start as a corrupt police chief that has so much left before he retires. And then you're confronted by, like, the mob boss, who's like, you're going to work for me now, motherfucker. And you have all these choices to make. Like,
Do they literally say motherfucker?
No.
Oh.
There is cursing in the game.
There
though.
is
It
cursing.
N-rated.
Oh.
But he doesn't say that. He's more eloquent.
Oh, okay.
But, like, they put you, like,
Eloquent.
the first decision they give you is, like, so your best friend is in deep. Are you going to help him out and, like, sell yourself down the river a little bit and maybe work for this mob boss? Or are you going to tell him no? And I was like, I'm going to tell him no. Because Charlie said that she felt like she was forced into corruption. And I was like, I'm just going to try and be as straight edge as possible. And then the next thing that happened after I said no was they're like, your friend, his wife, and all his children's heads were found mounted on their chandelier.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what
Shit.
the fuck? This
Oh
game
my
just got
God.
dark as balls. So I was so annoyed about that. Like, and then he tells you, the mob boss contacts you, and he's like, you work for me now.
So,
then,
like, you don't have a choice either way.
no, and then he randomly messages you every single day and is like, hey, we're doing this. Like, we're going to rob City Hall today at 5 o'clock, so if you get a call at 5, ignore it.
Yeah, and then
And
you have to choose whether you're.
I
Gonna
was literally
ignore
like,
it.
I'm sending 6 officers and SWAT. Suck my dick. And I foiled every plot he had. I lasted, I think, about 15 to 20 days, and then I was shot 3 times in the head through my window at home.
Oh my
And the game
God.
ended.
And he was just like, I think I just died. And I was like, what?
I was like, it's like you
And
see this
it
weird.
just says your character is dead.
Yeah, Jack is dead or
Yeah.
whatever. So I was like, well, I guess I didn't go corrupt like Charlie. But it was weird because like there's cutscenes, like it'll say like, oh, day 7, and then you go to work and you get like some story, and it's like you'll get cutscenes here and there every 3 or 4 days. So I got a cutscene where I was like eating breakfast in front of a window, and then you see the window and it has like 3 bullet holes all of a sudden and 3 gunshots. And then it shows like my character face down with holes in his fucking head.
Wow.
And I was like, I guess that mob boss wasn't fucking around. So
I don't know about you, but I had to like disagree with the mayor over like everything. The
mayor's a
mayor
piece
is
of
crazy,
shit.
dude. He'll
He
be
was like,
fire all your black
Yeah.
people.
that's the first mission you
Yeah.
get. The mayor tells you fire all your black people because the racist like gang around town's like, if you don't do this, we'll start killing people.
And then they're like, we're really disappointed in you that you didn't fire all those minorities.
The next one they gave me, the next mission from the mayor was, there's a group of 40 feminists protesting. Show them what intimidation really is. And he wanted my SWAT team to go down there and break it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And as soon as I said no, he sent me a letter like, we're very disappointed in
Fire
you.
people or something, right?
Yeah.
You lose budgeting or something.
They cut my staff, and then like 10 minutes after that, there was like a fucking hostage situation that needed my SWAT team. And I was like, had I sent them to beat up the feminists, all these people would have died.
Yeah.
And then all my officers started getting killed because I didn't have enough people to send back up. And I was like, 7 people died today, babe. Like, this is a rough day. I need
He
to
was
hire all
like,
these
I
new
only have
people."
12 people. Half of them are dead.
That's when you restart the day.
I was like, this is just really rough.
I did that so many times where I'd try something and restart the day.
I didn't know you could restart the day. So I was just stuck with my
I
decisions.
just go back to my save file.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
The old reset way.
Yeah.
Cool. Aside from that, I booted up Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild to play it on my new 4K TV,
Oh, yeah.
and it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Friday the 13th just because I wanted to see how bad that game would look on a really clear TV, and it looks atrocious, but it's also still really, really fun. There hasn't been a whole lot aside from Clash Royale. I'm so addicted. Someone offered me an invite to their clan, and you can like unlock a clan chest, and there's all these other things you can do to help everyone out, and I'm like, this is kind of fucking fun. So I've been playing like 3 to 4 hours of it a day, maybe. No, that's too much.
Wow.
I played 3 to 4 hours today, but aside from that, it's maybe an hour. It's far too much. I haven't put any money into it, so
I think I told you
That's
guys.
good. That's the point.
that is the point.
Once you start putting money, that's when it starts to get bad.
That's when it breaks you.
That's not a good idea.
No,
Don't do
I won't invest any money into it because as soon as I start losing, I'll be like, "But I paid to win."
Yeah.
Just email EA.
Right? Goddamn
Oh,
you,
Yell at
EA.
them.
man.
Your goddamn loot boxes. Cool. As far as what we've been watching, we'll do reverse order if I can remember it. I watched Hidden Figures
Again.
which was good. Yeah, we watched like bits and pieces of it. We watched it all the way through the other night, and we were watching. And I was like, "This reminds me of
It's
Apollo
just-
13." And I talked about it in the last podcast that
Yeah.
everyone was like, "We've never seen Apollo 13." I was like, "What are you doing with your goddamn lives?" So we watched
really
Apollo
liked Hidden
13 last
Figures.
night. It's so goddamn good.
I liked Apollo 13.
There's
too.
so many parts in that movie where I just want to fucking cry. I'm like, these guys were the cast is so good in Apollo 13.
It's, to me, the whole time, I was like, this happened to real people.
She kept
There
asking,
was a
like,
real person
is this a
that
true
went
story?
through this shit. There were real people that went through all this shit.
I was like, yeah, basically it was like, so you're about to die. Oh, we fixed it. By the way, you're about to die. By the way, you're about to die. All the way until the end of the movie. And it's just so goddamn
Well,
good.
I was just like, when they were like, we need to put this square peg into a round hole, that whole scene.
Yeah, they're
I
like,
was like, what the
we have to
fuck?
make this fit into the hole for this using nothing but that. And it's a fucking table
It's
of
amazing.
garbage.
I was like,
And they're
holy
like,
crap.
we got to figure this out in 12 hours or they're dead.
It blows my mind how smart people are. Like all these scientists and physicists, and
Yeah.
it was incredible. I was just mind blown by how smart they were with numbers and math. And
If you haven't seen
Oh.
Apollo 13, do yourself a favor and watch it. And if you want to watch it with us, I'd be more than happy to watch it again because I love that movie.
Consider it.
And there's just one scene, there's no spoilers, but like everyone knows what happens with Apollo 13, that something goes wrong in space, they have to get them back. When they were trying to broadcast the mission when they first took off, when they thought everything was okay, all the networks dumped the broadcast.
Wow.
And they're like, it's too boring, no one cares. It would have been the third mission to Mars, or the third mission to Moon, to walk on the moon, and they acted like it was a routine procedure now, and no one gave a shit. So they did this broadcast, and they didn't know no one on Earth was watching, because they didn't care. And they told the astronauts' wives that we'll tell them when they get back, because they didn't want to like hurt their feelings. And then when everything went down, they came to one of the astronauts' wives' homes, because like they're trying to cope with the fact that the patriarch of their family might die in space.
Yeah.
And the PR guy from NASA is just like, hey, they want permission to put a satellite dish on your yard so they can broadcast. And she's like, I thought they didn't care. And the scene is so good because he's like, well, yeah, it's really compelling now. And she's like, you tell them they're not allowed to put one piece of equipment on my property. And if they have a problem with it, they can talk to my husband because he'll be home on Friday. The way she acts that whole scene out, like she's trying to keep her shit together without crying. And you watch that scene, you're like, that chick's fucking awesome. I'm pretty sure Robin's exact words were, she's fucking awesome. And I was like, yeah, she totally is.
did I say that, or did I say she was a badass?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She's cool.
No.
They're very
Roll
similar.
the tape.
Right? Let's go back to it. I
Rewind
record
in
everything.
life.
Yes. Watch
yeah.
the movie again and see what your natural reaction is.
But yeah, that's what I watched. Robin, aside from the stuff I just said that we watched together.
I've been watching anime like nonstop, kind of.
What were you guys watching earlier?
A Food Wars.
Okay.
Everyone cries in every one of these shows. Like, everything happens like...
Yeah, I've been watching Food Wars, and I actually really like it because I watched this other anime that was like Restaurant to Another World or something, and that got me into like this food anime kick type thing, and then I started watching Food Wars, and it just makes me hungry, and it makes me wish I knew how to cook,
Food
and it
anime.
was just like,
You do know
and
how to
then
cook.
I've been watching that, and I've been watching the Ancient Magus's Bride. I guess that's how you say it. I don't know, but I'm on the 8th episode. There's only 9 episodes out right now, so because it's still coming out, it's new. I don't know. Yeah.
CJ, what have you been watching, if anything at all?
Really, I mean, nothing. Once again, I'm trying to remember. I still haven't been able to go see Justice League just because the work schedule's been kind of rough because we are super short staffed.
You and everyone else in the country.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Lots of hours. Yeah, I really can't think of it. I've just been watching reruns of The Office before I go to sleep, pretty much.
Nice. That's dude, like, I've only watched 2 movies in the last week, so I know exactly what that's like. Charlie, what about you?
Well, I got onto like an HBO kick.
Oh.
So I watched a documentary that I heard about on NPR about meth in Arkansas. And how it's so like meth
what's
addiction.
the title of it? I feel like I know the.
I think it's Operation Ice Storm or something like
Yeah.
that.
That's an awesome name.
Yeah, because that's what they call. That's what they're calling their like, the police's operation to try and like curtail meth addiction in Arkansas. But it's not going so great.
First thing they should do is try and make Arkansas more interesting, so that people have less ambition to want
That'll never happen.
escaping
my
reality
goodness.
there.
But yeah, they like profile a family where like the mom is on meth and has been since like her kids were born, and she
Wow.
has 2 adult boys and I think 2 girls, and the 2 girls are not on meth, but the 2 boys are and have been since they were teenagers.
Wow.
And the one goes to jail like 3 times, And it was really sad. Nothing was really resolved. And then they also profiled like a police officer who was talking about how he's had to like arrest friends and like parents of like his kids' friends, and that's just a really poor state. And I don't know how they're gonna get out of that mess. But at one point they're like driving through her neighborhood, and like all the houses are really spread out. But she's like, "Oh, the people that live there do meth. Oh, those guys sell drugs.
They
Oh,
do
those
meth.
guys are on pills."
It's crazy because it reminds me when I went and worked down in Bullhead City. Because I had no idea what
Oh,
that
God.
place was like.
Yeah.
And I was like working down there for like a week, and someone's like, "Oh, this place is just like Breaking Bad. Like there is meth everywhere." So when people used to come in, like my third key or my assistant manager or CJ would be like,
Hi.
"Yeah, that dude's a meth dealer. Yeah, that dude's a meth head. Don't take anything that guy's trying to trade in for cash because he's trying to make his rent because he's selling it so that he can pay his bills, which really means he's going to go buy meth." So it was bizarre too because it was such a small town, and then it'd be like, "Oh, that Walmart that's right across the street, they found a person chopped up into pieces behind the dumpster. He crossed the wrong meth dealer." So I'm really happy I don't work there anymore.
So after that, I watched it seemed really old. It looked like it had been filmed in like the 90s or early 2000s. But it was a documentary on HBO about this woman that was raped when she was 76.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it was
Whoa.
a story from the 90s with this 70s, and it was in the middle of like nowhere. This lady, someone broke into her house. This guy broke into her house, and she like saw like a shadowy figure in her bedroom. So she stood up and saw that it was a guy, and she was like, "I'm like a 76-year-old woman." Like she was like, "Just so you know, like I'm an old lady," and he raped her. And then he went to sleep in her bed, and she like got her son, and they arrested him, and then they took a plea bargain because they didn't have physical evidence, even though he was like in her bed.
What?
And he was like 25.
Ew.
I remember this story. They
That
turned
is
it into
rough.
a story on The Shield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a serial killer who starts out as a serial rapist, and he only targets old ladies, and then afterwards he cuddles them, and they call him the Cuddler. And it's from that story, and then they realize the reason that he was doing it
Was this
with his psych profile is to keep them calm before he murders them, but he always chickens out before he kills them. And that's like, I remember reading about that online. It was
Was
one of
this
the
like
first things
in-
that I read online.
Episode of My Favorite Murder too.
No,
It sounds really familiar.
I don't know.
he didn't kill anyone, so I doubt it would be on My Favorite Murder.
But the cool thing was they talked a lot about how like because of her acting out, because like they took a plea bargain and they didn't talk to her about it at all. And so now I don't know if it's just in that state or if it's everywhere, but she changed like the victim's ability to weigh in on those things. So now in a lot of states, or at least in that state, prosecutor can't take a plea bargain without consulting the victim first.
That's good.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, I watched Sister Act.
Nice. Sister Act's a good movie.
And then we've been watching home movies because we didn't finish it. So we're like halfway through the series.
8 home movies like squiggly animation, H. John Benjamin home movies.
Yes, it's so
Fucking
good.
love that series.
It
That's the
really-
first time I ever heard H. John Benjamin's voice.
It's so
and I was like, it
good.
sounds like Silk and Al Pacino mixed. It's crazy.
Mixed.
I think that might be it. But yeah, I love home movies, dude. I could watch that forever. Have you ever seen it?
I used to watch it when I was a kid, but
You didn't like it?
I never got into it. Like I was never like, oh, this is super awesome. I need to finish like the show or anything.
So good.
So I don't
So
know.
many good lines in that movie. Like H.
In
John
that
Benjamin.
movie, you mean in that show?
That show. H. John Benjamin plays their gym coach.
Yeah.
And they see him at the mall one episode, and like while they're talking to him, the girl's like, "Coach, are you drunk?" And he just goes, "Yeah, I'm at the mall." Like it's the stupidest question he's ever been asked. It's so fucking funny.
My sister also got me a DVD of this old show, and I don't really remember it. I think I vaguely remember it, but it's like an old Saturday morning cartoon called Bump in the Night. No, it's like
Not ringing any bells for me.
it's like
Yeah,
claymation.
me neither.
I hate claymation. It
sounds
creeps me out. I don't know
familiar.
why.
But yeah, it's really weird. It's
But
like
you got to give them props, though.
Oh yeah,
all
it's
horror
incredibly
themed.
difficult to do, and it
Really?
looks great.
yeah, it's like a Halloween. It's weird, but
But not cute like all real monsters.
it's kind of like that, except a little bit darker, I'd say. But according to what I read online, it was on ABC before Disney bought ABC, and then they canceled it.
Wow.
But it seems really weird, and I'm excited to watch it, although I didn't remember watching it as a kid.
Did you guys ever watch Candle Cove? That show that came out?
That really creepy
No.
fucked up
Yeah.
show. I watched it with you. Yeah.
I didn't
About a
see it.
kid show
That
that
shit's
makes people
creepy.
kill each other and gives people powers.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
It's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth the watch. I don't know.
The show itself is called Candle Cove, and it's about kids who grew up and when they'd watch TV because their parents would use
When
the
they
TV
were
as
kids,
babysitters.
there was this show that would come on TV called Campbell Cove, or
and like
something.
only they could see it, and only they remembered
the
it,
parents would see them watching Static.
and they'd see the TV show.
Yeah.
It's very much kind of
Wow.
like it, like how he shows up in the TV on like that kid show. Imagine if they made an entire kid show about like, you should go kill someone, kids. Come hang out like on the cliff, like where all the friends hang out. It's really fucking creepy.
Makes me think of like that South Park episode where they split the town and they called their side Treasure Cove.
Right? That's hilarious. We really need to watch South Park. We're so far behind.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the newest one yet.
However, you did mention that Disney bought out ABC and then canceled your show. Speaking of Disney, I didn't want to lose my amazing segue. And speaking of, Marvel. Okay, segue's ruined.
I was gonna
Whatever.
say.
The Infinity Wars trailer dropped. We posted it. I watched it like 10 times.
I haven't watched it at all.
It's okay. I won't
I've
spoil it
only
for
Are you about
anyone.
to talk about it?
If you guys want to go watch it, go watch it. If you guys don't want to go watch
Okay.
it, don't. What I will say is, everyone's probably already seen this, regardless of whether or not you watch the trailer. Thanos looks like shit.
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
I didn't know that people were talking about how horrible Thanos looked because I never saw it on the internet. But when I watched the trailer, I was like, Thanos looks like shit. And then Adam was like, everyone says he looks like shit.
I have saved some of my favorite memes. I will share them on the Nerd Chills Facebook. And people have been turning Thanos into the best character. Someone literally drew lines on the bottom of his thumb and then like eyes and a nose. And his thumb looks just like Thanos.
Oh my god.
And then someone photoshopped Thanos' face to be yellow, except his beard area to be brown. And he looks just like Homer Simpson. And then they've turned him into Mario. They've turned him into Shrek. They've turned him into Trump. They've turned him into Hank Hill. And
Yeah,
they all
I
look
think Hank Hill's
so
my
fucking
favorite.
good.
It looks so
Oh,
good.
man.
They're so funny. And their definition, their explanation for why he's not wearing his armor is like, oh, well, this is actually like a spiritual journey, so he's more like a shaman right now. And
He's
it's
on
like,
a walkabout.
right? He's a
Walkabout.
walkabout throughout the universe. The shaman on a spiritual journey of extinguishing life in the universe. Sure.
I feel like I know so little about the Marvel universe that every time I think of Thanos, I'm just like, oh, that's Gamora and Nova's dad.
Yes.
Like that's all I know.
Who's Gamora Nova?
Gamora and Nova.
Oh,
Gamora and
I thought you were
Nebula.
talking about
Nebula.
like an actual
I'm
actress.
ashamed of myself. I love.
It's
Neb-
Zoe
I love
Saldana and
Nebula.
Karen
Yeah,
Gillan's
yeah, yeah,
dad.
yeah. I know that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I think about when I think of Thanos.
The trailer doesn't give too much away. It's one of those good trailers. All it really shows you is like, here's all the people you know are going to be in the movie.
And Chris Evans is
And
hot
here's
as
them in the movie.
fuck.
Chris Evans has got a great beard. He looks like he's wearing a wig. I think he is wearing a wig. And I heard people talking
they
about it
Photoshop-
on
no,
a podcast that he has said he's losing his hair.
Aw,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a very
He's losing
attractive
his
bald
hair.
person.
If he shaves his head like Bruce Willis,
Yeah, as I said, it'll be
he
like
will,
Bruce
he will pull
Willis.
that off. Yeah.
He'll look so
So.
much more mature, and he's like
Yeah.
going for that now, right?
I think.
He has a baby face, so
How old was he? Whose age did we look up recently? Because we're like, I think he's as old as
Chris
I am.
Gotta be
Hemsworth.
like
Hemsworth? Yeah, Chris Hemsworth is as old as I am. And he looks like he's in his 40s.
he's like 34 or something.
He's my man
it's like
crush.
looking in a mirror.
Fuck you. I hate you, Charlie. No one likes you, Charlie. Get out of here. Take your goddamn Astros headset that you made fun of CJ for purchasing.
Mine were cheap.
Yours was cheap, and I'm super jealous of
They
it.
look comfy. Like the ear cups are
Very
like
comfy.
felt
It looks
lined or
like
something.
a really sweet headset is
Like-
hugging your head. Like, how you doing, Charlie?
well, like
Let's listen to stuff together.
my ear cups are
They're
leather,
amazing.
and so they're like not comfortable at all, and you sweat and it's uncomfortable. But those are like
Sorry
nice
for that
and soft,
expensive
and
Anniversary
Oh,
gift you're
sorry,
wearing
Minnie.
on your head, douchebag.
those just look comfy.
Cool. So that's what we've been watching and what we've been playing, boys and
And
girls.
what we're wearing on our
and
heads.
what we're wearing on our heads.
I got Astros. I just partially justified getting Astros because I was going to buy that TV, and then my order got canceled. And I was like, it's not meant to be.
That's so annoying that they did that to you. I thought we were going
Yeah.
to be new TV buddies, and they ruined it.
It's cool. I realized that maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe a TV shouldn't be the first piece of furniture I buy, and literally an empty room.
It's true.
Maybe I should buy something to sit on or something
should,
to put the TV on.
I hear beanbags are cheap and affordable.
You should Airbnb that room. Just saying, bro.
Oh my
It might be your living room, but it doesn't matter.
Dude, I could probably do that. That would be
Airbnb your guest room.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you
That's
don't mind
smart.
creepy strangers.
Well, not all of them are creepy. We Airbnb'd and it was fine.
We're pretty creepy.
You guys?
I was like doing helicopter dick the whole night. So I'm sure
You guys
there's
can-
cameras in that room.
You guys can Airbnb at my house anytime.
You will not enjoy the noise. Cool. Moving on to the big three. CJ, what do you have in the world of Microsoft?
So
All right, got a couple articles. So the first one is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Download or file size has been released. It looks like it's just from the back of a actual box. It is up to 30 gigs.
Ew.
So I don't know if that means some people might have different amounts, whether if it's disk or a full.
I think they always say up to. All of the cases always say up to. I don't know what
They
they're
always say up to.
differentiating.
I think it's because now that you can select whether or not you want specific updates or like non-crucial updates,
Yes.
that they're letting you know what like if you select all updates would look like.
Yeah.
Okay. But just kind of in comparison, like if you've ever seen PUBG played, it seems like it's a pretty big map. There's a lot of stuff always spawning in. There's obviously a lot of people spawning in when there's 100. When you're playing solo, you got to kill 99 different people. But in comparison to Gears of War 4, their file size was 116 gigs. So
Yeesh.
It's probably
doesn't
because they
seem
do
too high
4K.
once you compare it to that.
I don't know if PUBG's in 4K.
I don't know actually. I know that the frame rate initially on
4K.
Xbox One will only be 30, but as time goes on, it will hate you so much. It will increase.
Yeah, and on PC, it's only 7 gigs. So, I mean, it's got a huge jump from PC to console for what it has to do.
That makes
And then the other part is PUBG had its best month ever. And it's selling 5 million copies in the month of October.
That is fucking
It's
crazy.
not even a real game
So-
yet.
It is technically
Yeah.
a real game. I think December 11th. Is
No, it's
PUBG
still-
1.0.
It's well on PC. I
PUBG
think.
1.0.
Yeah.
And then they
yeah.
release it for
Early
Xbox
access on Xbox.
One. Yeah, so it's going to be a fake game on Xbox.
It's still a game. Charlie. I'm gonna vote for my game of the year just to spite you.
I don't think it's up for
And
game
it's
of the
already,
year.
It is.
it's
Is it?
already,
Yeah.
I
it
can't
is because I
remember.
voted for it. Remember? Haha.
CJ did.
It's already sold 20 million copies in total, and
that's
I
insane.
think as soon as it hits Xbox, that number is going to jump up pretty high as well.
So I have a game that I haven't finished yet. If you guys want early access to it, just gonna have to give me $59.99, and then I'll deliver it to you eventually. So 20 million of those should take care of me for my life.
Moving on to my next one is Microsoft put out an article about them wanting to broaden their approach to the gaming market. So this article, it's kind of short and doesn't really say too much.
Handheld Xboxes.
No, they're not getting into handheld.
I don't know if they'll go that far. We'll see, but
Imagine
I think
how
the
big
Switch
that
has
would
got the
be.
handheld market pretty locked down.
Be like a
But for the most
backpack.
part, it's just the CEO basically talking about what they're wanting to do over the next year, especially with how well Xbox One X response has been. They haven't had too many issues from what I know, except for those couple people that were bricking, which that comes down to user error in my opinion. So
We'll see. We'll see what happens when they actually release the sales numbers. I'm really interested to see the failure rate because Charlie has lots of horror stories of these things coming back with a bunch of problems. Mine has been perfect. I
That's
love
good.
mine.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
haven't had a single problem,
Yeah.
thankfully. That's why I'm saying I feel like some of it's user error.
I had a guy bring back too. The HDMI port completely died, and we had a TV we tested it on, and it was dead.
I think there's something wrong with this.
It's dead.
I
Jim.
think what CJ's saying is it's your fault, Charlie.
Right.
User error.
I'm the user.
Just you picking up that box, it commits suicide.
It's called the Sony, and it just stopped working. It's like
It just shoved this sword into its HDMI port. Just cut it open.
really gross. Jesus Christ.
That's amazing. Then we have a
Oh my god! Someone animate that.
article
That would be so funny.
from Windows Central about Xbox and Microsoft cutting the cord with Xbox Wireless. So they are essentially making all of their accessories from, I guess, this point forward, but I was pretty sure most of them already were.
Yeah, I was too.
But
It's
you're
very
gonna
weird.
you're gonna be able to, if you there'll be some accessories you'll need adapters for, but most of them going forward are going to be built
They love
right out of the box
adapters.
to work with your PC and your Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox One X. And they're not. It's either going to be done through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi Direct. So depending on which, I don't know which one works better technically. Wi-Fi Direct for phones sucks. It's awful. I hate having to use it at work. So I already have a bad taste in my mouth with that one. It likes to disconnect a lot. It has a lot of problems when there's multiple Wi-Fi Direct devices around. So hopefully they don't lean more towards that side. Hopefully they stick to Bluetooth.
I'm assuming
Especially
they'd
'cause
use like
Bluetooth-
their proprietary Bluetooth.
Yeah, I would too. I just am really confused. Like, Xbox Wireless sounds great, but at the same time, I'm like, what devices of yours aren't already wireless? I know a lot of third-party devices could be wired, but I don't know. There's just so much of it where I'm just like, I feel like this is already built into most of the accessories. So
Yeah, that's what confuses me. So I don't know if they're going to start coming out with ones that aren't fully wireless. So that way they're going to have you buy this piece. I don't really know, but we'll see what happens.
if any of you
And
guys
that's
out there
really-
have or if you have wired accessories and you're like excited about this, let us know. Because I think most of the things that we all own are roughly wireless, I would say.
I guess it depends on what they're talking about. Like 90% of the headsets people use for Xbox are wired into the controller at least.
Yeah.
They're
But
supposed
the
to be wireless now, so...
And I don't know because people have so many headset issues on Xbox. I'm interested to see how that works.
Yeah, I know that in the icon for the Xbox Wireless thing, it shows controller, headset, and one other thing, where you can turn like all accessories for that into wireless stuff. But like you said, if it's plugging into the controller, isn't that
Do they consider
technically
that
still
wired?
wireless? I still consider that wireless. I'm
Yeah.
still very impressed.
I do too.
so-
If it doesn't have a cable that has to run across my room to get to my console, I would consider
Well,
it
nothing
wireless.
has that.
I can't imagine having a headset having to plug.
I can only
into
think
them.
of like
I can't imagine having a
Old
headset
school Turtle Beaches did.
that I no.
No, not
No.
happening. Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole way of like plugging into my controller and the USB port shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm past
Yeah.
that. Like that one headset that you got for free at Xbox Fan Fest
Yeah.
when you met
Where
Phil
I just
Spencer.
plug it into my. Stop, man.
No, never.
Phil Spencer.
You plug it into your controller and it's amazing
That's like
sound.
the 6th Phil Spencer joke he's made today.
I'm just really jealous. Okay, can't.
Where he clearly told you about Scalebound, yet you're not telling us because
I
you're
know.
rude.
It's really rude to hide all your secrets about the game that me and CJ want to come back. Scalebound reference. I don't think we had one last week.
You guys ruined
didn't.
it.
I feel
Broke the
bad.
streak.
man.
Streak
We
is broke.
ruined it.
New streak has started. There you go.
All right, day one. Just some other quick Xbox things. So the Gears of War Esports Season 2 kicks off this weekend in Dallas, which I would assume the prize pool is $300,000. It's got about 16 different teams that are actually seeded in, like 16 professional teams. Then it's got a pretty decent open bracket. So if you're a Gears of War fan, that'll be streamed on Twitch. That'll be fun to watch because it's always pretty intense. And it's really funny to kind of hear the players shouting at each other because they get really heated
Yeah,
when it
dude.
comes to Gears of War.
When they let
So
people
weird.
hear the streaming for the Overwatch League, when they're like, "Oh, listen to this part where they're all communicating with each other," it was just people like, "No, no, 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 no! Don't go there! What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh my god.
I was like, "Oh, I
It
feel
gets
so good
super
about this."
hectic.
Right?
I just
Then we
think
have-
it's funny because it's all in different languages
I mean, yeah, unless it's like Canada or
or
the United States.
U.S.
That is all I have for Xbox news because the other one was just they announced the Xbox One Enhanced Edition for Dishonored: Death of an Outsider, and they were kind of going into detail of what the GPU and the Xbox One X let them do. So if you're a big Dishonored fan, look forward to Death of the Outsider, and from what I've read, it seems like it's going to be crazy graphics wise. And if you have a 4K TV, you can definitely take advantage of that.
Yep. Standalone DLC.
Do
just so you know.
Dishonored fans exist?
They do in mass too. They
Oh.
really, really liked Dishonored too.
Oh wow.
A lot of places gave it Game of the Year.
Nice.
It has a level design in it that deals with time that I won't spoil. That
Timey
is supposed to be
wimey.
one of the best levels made in like the last 10 years.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
I have it on our
Interesting,
shelf, on
too.
our bookshelf, and it's still wrapped in plastic. So
Still
feel
wrapped
free
in
to play with
plastic.
it.
No thanks. Is it PS4 or?
No,
Oh, cool. Maybe
I have the
will.
Xbox One version. So, right on. Charlie, what's going on in the wide
Okay.
world of Sony?
Anyways, on that note, so first of all, they announced the PS Plus games for December. Not crazy exciting, but they're going to be giving PS4 players Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition.
Definitive?
That's right.
No,
Like
it's
death and then
Death-
initive?
Definitive, yeah. And then
What?
Kung Fu Panda Showdown.
Yes.
Showdown of Legendary Legends.
Wow.
of legendary pandas.
I'm-
Sounds like my kind of game.
Right? Sounds amazing.
I feel like they're not going to. I feel like people are probably going to be like, no thanks. But it says that that Kung Fu Panda game is Smash Bros. Like fighting game.
What?
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to check it out.
That might be worth checking it out.
Anyways, on PS3, PlayStation Plus subscribers are going to get the Siberia Collection and X-Blaze Lost Memories. And then on Vita, they're going to be giving Forma.8, which I've never heard of.
I have never heard of that either.
What is it?
But hey, they're still supporting the Vita. That's
Forma.8,
cool.
which is a cross-buy compatible with PS4, a top-down action game. And then you can also still download Until Dawn Rush of Blood for VR through December, actually through the 2nd of January.
Cool.
So yeah, that is that article, and I'll come back to this topic in a few articles because I have the one comparing the two.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. I'm really happy to hear
It'll be
that.
an interesting debate. So my next article is about the Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima panel lineup. They have confirmed, at least from what I've seen, that the PlayStation Experience lineup is not going to be as extensive, or like the announcements are not going to be as big as Paris Game Show or E3, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But they are going to do panels for those two games. So Sucker Punch will have a panel for Ghost of Tsushima, and the cast and crew of Last of Us Part 2 are going to be doing their own panel.
Sucker
Apparently,
Punch?
there's going to be a panel as well for every voice actor from a Naughty Dog game, basically ever, hosted by Greg Miller.
That's
He's
kinda
hosting
cool.
like 3 separate events at PlayStation Experience. I kind of wish I would have gone. Not because I wanted to see Greg Miller, but because that does sound interesting. However, I really do like Greg Miller.
Sucker Punch, is that the studio that made...
Infamous,
what other one did they make?
Jack and Dexter, I think.
Jack and
It was
Daxter.
Jack and Daxter, and then they didn't like how it looked when they got to like 1080p. They're like, we'd rather make something more realistic. So they decided to make Uncharted instead.
No, I love Jack and Daxter. So sad.
Sucker Punch doesn't make Uncharted.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about
Naughty Dog?
Naughty Dog. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think Sucker
no,
Punch.
sorry. Then you're right. Sucker Punch did do
I thought Sucker Punch...
a
Did they make that
animated
game with the dude with the guns
The
That's
dude with the
really
guns.
specific.
I'm going to go with
on
probably.
360? I forget what it was called.
Oh, wait. They did make...
Shadows of the Damned or something. No?
No, I don't think so. I know what you're talking about, but
Okay, okay.
no. And then I'm really excited about this, actually. Media Molecule is hosting a panel on the development of Dreams, their new game, and that looks really freaking cool. I forgot about that game. They announced it like 2 E3s ago. You should really check a video out.
Okay.
It's really cool looking. I can't quite remember the premise. I just remember seeing the style of it and being like, this is so cute. I want to play it. So that was that. I have like 2 more articles, I think. Oh yeah, they're shutting down the servers for Demon Souls finally.
Yeah,
I
I
found that
noticed
to
that.
be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
You'll still be able to play the game. However, the hints and or traps that people leave will not be accessible.
Apparently, too, you like would fight a boss at some point in that game, and it was actually just another player
Oh wow.
that was higher level than you. And then later on in your game, you would be someone else's boss,
Wow.
which is kind of awesome. So
So yeah, you won't be able. I mean, it's been out for like a decade, but they're finally shutting it down, so there won't be any online cooperation.
Aw, that's sad.
No more messages, no more bloodstains or hints or anything. So yeah, if you want to play that game with all the features, you should do it now. Still so popular, and I don't quite understand. It's like an underground world.
I've never got it either, because it's like, I get it's fun to play a game that's super challenging and you have a good time, but at the end of the day, if I'm gonna freaking have a heart attack trying to play a game,
I don't know, man. Like I
I
want to
just
play
can't do
Cuphead,
it.
but that's the same reason I don't. It's like,
It's different.
is it different?
It's really different.
Okay.
Like it's not
You should
frustrating to the
get
point
it.
where you're gonna throw something. You guys can try it on my profile. But
yeah.
it's really good.
I'm just always afraid, like, what if Charlie wants to play something?
While we're playing it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm playing for Xbox right now is Sims.
Oh.
But we can totally try it out.
Okay.
Right on.
They have announced the beta schedule for Monster Hunter World. So starting, it's gonna be first out. Is it first out on PlayStation or only out on PlayStation?
I think the beta initially, the first wave at least, will only be on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah,
So December 9th, starting at 9 a.m.
It's so
and then
soon.
It goes through the 12th. Yeah, it is really soon. I love this. Location, your game room plus the internet. It's only a 6 gigabyte install.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's going to be starting very, very, very soon, and hopefully it will not be garbage. I'm interested
Garbage.
to see.
I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna probably play the beta on my PlayStation 4, which I haven't fired up in a while.
I just
And,
think
uh,
it's funny that when we were at E3 and we watched the gameplay and they kept dropping out, and I'm like, this is what the beta is going to be like.
Oh God.
Everyone's
This is what
just
the
gonna-
real game is gonna be like.
Everyone's going to keep
Oh.
dropping out.
All I know is they were talking about 100-player raids on massive bosses, and I'm like,
I know.
that sounds really
Like,
fucking
that's
fun.
nuts.
So,
Yeah, that's gonna be the best part about that
Just
game.
Oh,
play Final
definitely.
Fantasy
It's just-
14.
14. Why do you keep pitching Final Fantasy 14? Watching that trailer for World of Warcraft, the new one, made it made me want to bring my character
it just
back.
Made me cry.
Because my
It made me
character's
cry
been like
so much.
in retirement in my mind, where it's like we defeated the Burning Legion and the Lich King, and now I'm gonna go and take a long stroll, and then like the king gets killed or whatever. And I didn't know that this has happened already in the lore of World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
and I feel
remember
like
you talking about it.
it'd be like just
Yeah.
role playing to be like, God damn it, putting back on my mage armor and going back out there to whoop some ass, but don't have the time. So
So my last article is sort of Sony and PlayStation, or Microsoft and Sony news. This is IGN's list of comparing all the PlayStation Plus games versus Games with Gold games this past year.
cool.
That's cool.
They added up the dollar amount. They said that PlayStation Plus totaled $1,228.28, and Games with Gold was $1,039.51. And then they literally break down every month of games, which is nuts. Adam and I were talking about this in advance. It's kind of like give and take. I think that it makes sense for Sony to have more because PlayStation Plus has to support Vita as well. And 360 games work on Xbox One, so you're giving more to your core fan base with that, and you can kind of support both at once, where PlayStation can't do that. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Personally, I think the biggest release for the year on Games with Gold or PlayStation Plus was Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, the full game for PlayStation Plus. Like, I literally logged back in. I had missed games for a couple months on PlayStation Plus because I never turned mine on. And I was like, well, I really want to play that game, so I'm going to go online and download it. And now if I play Metal Gear Solid 5, it will be on PlayStation 4 because I got it for free. And there's not really any AAA games that were that big that stood out to me, especially since Phantom Pain was one of the Game of the Year contenders last year, wasn't it?
Yes, Phantom
Yeah.
Pain did really well.
Yeah,
It
I
got
think
like
it was up
10
there.
out of 10
To me,
reviews.
that'd be like The Witcher coming out on Xbox One.
Rothman actually started playing that
The Witcher?
because he just bought his Xbox. No, not The Witcher.
Phantom
Phantom
Pain.
Pain. And he was like, it's so cool.
Everyone keeps saying that.
I think that they'd both try to give away exclusives, which is cool, but I think Sony has some bigger exclusives, arguably. Like, they have
I don't think that's
Infamous.
arguable.
Infamous and Until Dawn, and they gave away Little Big Planet and a couple of other Tearaway, which is a really good game. Like, they have decently popular games that are only on Sony systems, so I think that kind of separates it. Whereas on Xbox, they gave away games
It's
like Rise.
a lot of indie games and a lot of games that are really
That's what I like about the
shitty.
Xbox
Yeah.
side of it. On the other side of that coin, as a friend of mine used to say, is that they seem to give away more indie games that I would never know about, whereas Sony tends
They
to...
give away Telltale games too. on
Yeah,
there.
Sony tends to give away more specific to their console, and then every now and then if there's an indie game, they actually let you vote. Like, here's the 3 indie games up for, like, December Game of the Month, and they show you trailers for all 3, and you get to pick... The audience gets to pick which one that they would like to give for free.
Yeah.
For the free games that they give out, do you have to have PlayStation Plus in order to play them?
Correct.
Yes, you have to be a
Okay.
current Plus subscriber. I will say that if your Plus lapses and then you get it again, I think you're good to go. You just have
As
to
long
be
as
a
it's still
current
on, yeah.
subscriber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Xbox, if your gold expires, you'll still have that game to play.
Yeah.
So you don't have to maintain your subscription, but let's be honest, most of us do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's all just
I still have
auto
have
pay
a
at this
code I have
point.
to redeem for my Xbox
That you
Live.
got from Phil. Yeah, we know.
No, that I
Okay.
got from Black Friday because it was $10.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad. Right on. That's a really interesting article if you guys are interested at all to go and see the comparison between years, or between this year for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Gold. It's a really good write-up.
Thank you so much.
Why?
So many Phil jokes. I'm so tired of it.
Too bad. So sad. Go weak to your Phil.
it'll never end.
Let's
So-
follow Phil and be like, he's picking on me.
He won't stop picking on you. So moving...
Ban his Xbox account.
Right? Go kick his ass at every game. Moving into Nintendo news, I moved this to the top of mine. It was one of the last pieces of news that I dropped into the Nintendo news, but I feel like I just had to go over it. So This report did come from Markets Insider. It's not from Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo. But the hottest product, so of all things to purchase on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, was indeed the Nintendo Switch. And to put that into perspective, it beat out televisions, it beat out coffee makers, anything that was on super sale. And the best part about it is the Switch was not discounted on any websites whatsoever. It was still $299.99.
I
Full
think they
price.
have got some flack for it not being. It was like people were literally complaining as they bought all theirs.
Yeah, they're like, I can't
Nintendo
believe
stuff.
I'm not getting a discount. Can I get Mario Kart?
But yeah, nothing Nintendo was on sale. Literally nothing.
Wow.
But I think we talked about this last week, or the week before Black Friday, and I remember distinctly saying, like, even with $100 off, they're going to beat Sony.
Right.
But Sony did have like a phenomenal Black Friday.
Sony had the best Black Friday in the history of Sony.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
in
they
20
came out and they
years.
said, like, this is the best Black Friday sales we've ever had, and it's the best sales we've ever had for a PlayStation on Black Friday.
I feel like if anything, they just proved that they don't need to make the system cheaper because
No.
like people were clamoring for it as cheaper. So for like $2.99, they can still sell them readily. But I don't know. I'm interested to see all the turnout of things. I
I
know
just am-
Xboxes are still on sale.
Yeah.
Like, we're just barely
Yeah.
now running out of those 500 gig basic systems that were $190, and they're still $190.
Wow.
I feel
That's
like
good.
Wow.
no, it's not good.
And no, it's good for the consumer. It's fantastic. Plus, they're doing well. They're making money. They're not at risk of going under. I mean,
Well, they're not at risk of going under, but it's just like I feel like every year they do this where they make the system cheaper, and then they have to leave it at that price because people are like, well, I won't pay a dime more than $190 now.
they usually just leave it like that until like February, and then when they bring it back up, people are
Yeah,
like, "Are
they
you
drop it
serious?"
too
Yeah,
often.
and then they have to lower it again. Like they play this little game where they try it out, and they're like, oh wait, now we can't sell systems for this price. But
Yeah,
now,
and then they move it back up to 300 or whatever it's going to be, and then they do like the $50 discount, and then they make it permanent.
but now you're looking at a difference of $310 between the S and the X. Mm-hmm. So
And
how do you
it's
sell
not a
X's?
$300 difference in the actual hardware. It's like, why would I spend an extra $300 for something that just has...
It's just for the 4K
It-
crowd.
it's
That's what it
so
comes.
stupid.
That's what the whole Xbox One X thing was all about, anyways.
I don't care about the teraflops.
No, it's interesting to see, but like getting us
Teraflops are
back to
amazing.
Nintendo news, the
Oh,
fact
sorry.
that the install base is going to be so substantially larger, and it's going to be so high come 2018. Everyone that owns a Switch, which is going to be so many people now, are going to want Pokemon when it comes out in 2018.
Dude.
And everyone who doesn't have a Switch that likes Pokemon,
Have
which
to
that
buy
base
one.
has been expanded because of Pokemon Go, is going to want to go out and buy a Nintendo Switch. I think CJ called for 100 million units to be sold in Nintendo Switch, and I believed in him in that, but I wasn't willing to make that projection. But right now, the numbers that they're on pace to do are higher than the Wii, which definitely crossed the 100,000
you.
threshold, or 100 million threshold,
you.
which is insane. But the
We
PS4
can't
is also on
believe it.
pace. I think they're getting close to the 70 million mark, which is amazing. And then Microsoft is sitting around 35, 40. So
It's like how does Microsoft compete at this point? Like,
I mean, they're still
what do you
making
do
money.
if you work for Microsoft?
Well, that's the thing is, like, if you're working for Microsoft, we look at it from a
Apply
fan
Nintendo.
perspective. We look at it from a fan perspective of like, Sony's doing so much better. It's like, yeah, but realistically, Microsoft's still making money. They're still profitable. At no point are they
yeah.
going to shut down. So they're just like,
Yeah.
we're going to try and catch up, and we're going to try and figure out how to beat them the next generation, just like how Sony did during PS3, when everyone's like, oh, Sony's dead. Phil right now is probably out there. Phil right now is trying to find party exclusives, not just
He's like,
like
"What
play
should
it
I do,
first
bae?"
exclusively. And I
she's
mean,
like,
that's
"I
very
don't know,
clear. That's
bae."
one of the missions that they have is to get more exclusives for that. So this has been the Nintendo Xbox news.
That's why Robin has to make octopuses and sell them so she can
Support Phil.
octopi, so she can support Phil Spencer's Xbox.
They're still giving
Abbott.
him new titles, which I think is hilarious. He's like, I don't know, executive super president of all gaming, entertainment, and fun. He just got a new title recently, so I just think that's funny. Getting back to
Yeah.
Switch news, Yooka-Laylee is finally going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch. That will be launching on December 14th.
I don't know
Yooka-Laylee,
if I'm offended with how it's spelled.
why would you be offended?
Ukulele?
It's spelled just like it sounds because they're two separate creatures. I think one's named Yuka, one's named Laylee.
Yeah.
And it's like a spiritual
It's like
successor to
Crash
Banjo-Kazooie.
Bandicoot.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just because, you
Well,
know,
not Crash
people
Bandicoot,
pronounce
Banjo-Kazooie.
ukuleles
That's what it
like
is.
ukuleles. And I'm just like, no.
It's
I've
okay.
been told by my boss who is
Hawaiian.
that it's ukulele.
Yeah.
He's like, he made it very clear.
Yeah.
I was like, you'd be surprised how little I say that word. It's really not going to come up. And he was like, well, just so you know. this is how it's said.
That's why I'm like, ukulele. What?
You're like, okay.
It's like ukulele.
Moving on to the
collects
next
them.
super awesome piece of Nintendo news. So this was passed around as a rumor, and now it's been confirmed. There is going to be a Super Mario cereal.
Yeah,
I
saw that.
want it.
It's going to be hitting shelves.
Yes.
It's already apparently popping up, but it's supposed to be
Are
starting
there
on December
marshmallow
11th.
hats?
I don't know what's gonna. It looks like it looks just like Lucky Charms, where it's like half marshmallow, half not. Which sucks because I prefer it to be like Captain Crunch.
How about
Let's see,
all
let's see, let's see.
marshmallows? Why do we still have to live in this?
You gotta show me the picture.
But the most important thing is that each box will come with an amiibo. It has an amiibo chip in the box,
I
not
was
an
gonna say,
actual
each
amiibo.
box
Oh.
is an amiibo.
So it's like you can walk into the store with your Nintendo Switch in hand and rub your Joy-Con on this and just steal the
Do you
amiibo.
really think so?
I just can't
I
wait
think
to
they're gonna have that lining where people can't do that. I'm sure it's gonna be a way where you
They have to have something, but they literally state the directions on the box. Literally state like hold your Joy-Con up to the back of the box and rub it against it, and that's all you need to do. So it's like I don't know if it's gonna like activate somehow when it gets sold. I don't know how that's going to happen, but it'll be really interesting to see people walking around grocery stores.
Maybe there's like a special barcode, like they scan 2 different barcodes.
I just can't wait to see the people with like the huge amiibo display and then the cereal boxes, the empty cereal boxes.
everywhere. I just hope the cereal's good. Everyone's like, does it matter if the cereal's good?
It's
I'm
like,
like,
Lucky Charms.
it kind
dude.
of
How
matters
can
to me.
they?
This
How
is
can
what I
it
read
go
my
wrong?
articles off of, so I will need that back.
Oh my god, it's so cute!
It is super cute. So
I
hoping-
want that cereal in my mouth.
I want a Legend of Zelda cereal, and I want like the Triforces to be marshmallows. I'll never eat it because I hate marshmallows.
I just
Mario
want
cereal.
all like what? Why not better cereal? Like
No, I agree.
it's not. I mean, Lucky Charms is like whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I wish it was Captain Crunch because I love Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
So,
Captain Mario.
moving on. I hate you so much. Next piece of official Nintendo news: Shin Megami Tensei 5 is officially going to be released in the West. It hadn't been confirmed yet, but it will be releasing in North America and in Europe. So anyone who's a fan of that game, which I have never played, rest easy. It will be coming out around here. However, if there's a game in Japan that you really want that's not coming to North America, the system's not region locked, so you can just import the fucking thing and play it.
Except you can't read it in English.
It's okay. I played through an entire Dragon Ball Z Super Nintendo RPG that was like 60 hours long, that was card combat, and I didn't know what the fuck anyone was saying.
I just had a mind-blowing thought.
Props. man.
Imagine a world where you can buy an imported game and then you get that Google headset and it translates.
That would be
for you.
amazing.
Wouldn't that be so freaking
That'd
cool?
be cool.
It would be really cool if I used my
In a
Microsoft HoloLens to translate my Switch. And be like, this is more interactive than with my Xbox.
But will it be wireless? They promised you.
It's a good question. Yeah, back in the day with my Super Nintendo, I downloaded this ROM, so it was definitely not on my Super Nintendo. It was all Japanese. It was like a straight up JRPG, but it had like a card system, so each card was a different spell. And it was all, what is the fancy alphabet in Japanese?
I'm sure it was more than just hiragana. But
I don't know
that-
why I try and talk to you.
No, I'm just saying.
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure they have kanji and stuff in there too.
Kanji's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Thank you. So I'm pretty sure
There
they're
we
all
go.
kanji symbols regarding like what spell you were casting. So you had to like learn which one meant what. Like, okay, that squiggly line, that's a destructo disc.
Squiggly line.
But the
Oh
thing
my
about the
God.
game was it was extremely difficult. If your character ever fainted, they were dead forever. And you only had as many people as existed in the Z Fighters, so you had to keep Krillin alive till the Frieza saga so he could get killed by Frieza, or Goku would never go Super Saiyan. And I realized that on my second playthrough of the fucking game, because the first time I had to fight Frieza without ever going Super Saiyan, and it took so much longer.
But I inputted
Gee,
squiggly line.
that would be.
I was like, but I used Spirit Palm and nothing happened. So yeah, it's possible to bring in a game that does not have your language on it at all and still enjoy it
I
twice
think
through.
that would be so cool. Like I'd be really interested in importing if I had that ability.
Yeah.
I just don't have anything I want to import. Or else maybe I would.
I don't
So
pay
many
attention to
games.
games as much as like I don't know about imports. I'm not like researching Shin Megami titles that I
Right.
can't get here. But I bet if I looked, I'd find a few that I'd like to play that I can't.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool topic sometime.
Yeah.
Imports.
We should look up imports.
I want some Doctor Who games that are only available in the UK.
I wonder how you would read that in
I
English.
want some of those Chinese propaganda games.
All right, they sound amazing. I want the Chinese propaganda mod for my PUBG. So, moving into additional news, this is a super news-heavy episode, by the way, guys. Sorry.
Super news.
But I saved this one for the first of additional news
Super news.
so I could watch Charlie's reaction. The 19th film in the Marvel Universe will be Avengers Infinity War 2, the second Avengers Infinity War. And Kevin Feige, who's the guy who's in charge of Marvel and in charge of the cinematic universe, did state that this movie will have something that he says no superhero movie has had before, which is an ending, which is bullshit because Dark Knight Rises did end that trilogy. But after that,
Should end it all.
they're basically starting over, but they don't tell you exactly how. But that will be the end of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe arc.
Wow.
And then after that, they're going to pick up from
Wow.
like wherever Infinity War 2 leaves us. So whether or not the entire universe gets reset or whatever the fuck happens,
So I just want to know, like, for people like me, can I just walk into that next movie and be like, it's all fresh, or do I still have to know the backstory? Because I feel like it's still going to be like, so the world ended and this is now what's happening. Like, I feel like I'm still going to have to know.
smartest way to do this would be to reset the universe. Like, everyone dies and everyone gets brought back. But when they get brought back, they're
Yeah.
all new actors. Because
Oh,
the universe
shit.
ended, then was reborn, and then it's like literally a reboot. And don't worry, Charlie. I know you're sitting there like, 19 movies isn't enough for me. I think that this doesn't have enough. The next slate of movies for the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Infinity War is at least 22
Wait,
movies.
after Infinity War 2?
So wait, what did we do? We mathed this, right? There's like 3 movies per year, correct?
There's at least 3 movies per year since like 2011.
So that means we're looking at least another like 5 to 7 years of Marvel movies. They're gonna be making, I mean, probably for the rest
this
of
is
my life.
this is probably another 10 to 15 years.
Jesus Christ!
They're probably going to stretch them out that long.
You're gonna have to explain this Marvel universe to your fucking children.
Yeah, you're going to have to like, well, Marvel Universe number 1 was better when Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man before the new Iron Man
Back
showed
in
up.
my day.
Because realistically, Iron Man is getting older, and they have to recast him. They have to recast Logan.
That
They're
just
gonna have
drives
to
me
recast
nuts.
Captain
Like,
America soon.
do something new. Like, why are we gonna bring back? You're basically like rebooting all your own movies. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, they're gonna.
They gotta have an
They
old
either reboot
Captain
the
America,
universe
though.
or they just recast everyone and somehow write into the storyline how every superhero aged out, which they've never done before in the comics because you never have to have them get older. They just die, and then someone else takes over for like a year or two. Like Bucky Barnes becomes Captain America, and then, well, Captain America was never dead in the first place, and now he's back.
Well, Captain America gets older, and then he comes across a being that makes him younger again, and then
Yeah, and maybe at the end of Infinity War, they all come across this being that just make them look different and younger, and then they can recast all the actors.
Just reminds me of Austin Powers, where he's like trying to figure out like the path of something to happen. And he's like, oh no, I've gone cross.
Yeah. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. So it'll be
So
interesting.
yeah,
to see
I
what
already
the fuck
am not going to
happens.
pay attention.
I'll be keeping you up to date for the next 20 years
Oh, good.
on where the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes after this.
we're all gonna be in rocking chairs by then, just like
In my day,
In my day, God rest their zombie bones.
there's zombie bones. If they did the zombie Marvel Cinematic Universe to
oh
end
my
it,
god.
that would be amazing.
That would be
because that means
crazy
Deadpool
cool.
will kill everyone. Because in the cinematic universe,
Yep.
he doesn't turn into a zombie, but he kills all the superheroes.
That's a thing? I don't even understand.
I shouldn't say cinematic.
There
universe.
is so in the
zombie
comic
universe.
books, so much shit, so much different stuff happens. Like there's a comic where the Red Skull like gets Xavier's brain and like makes all
Yeah.
the mutants like kill each other. There's
This
so
has
much
gotten out of
shit.
hand.
Yeah,
There's
the
the
comic books are insane.
Secret Wars or whatever it is, where they somehow kidnapped Captain America, and like there's 2 Captain Americas. There's 2 Steve Rogers. One of them's fake, and one of them's a Nazi, and he replaces the other one. And everyone was super pissed about it. And he picks up Thor's hammer, and there's just all this shit going on in the comics right now that everyone's like, "This isn't that good."
And I'm looking at that stack of comics over there, and I'm like, I need to read through those.
When
Yeah, it's all in there.
Yeah, it's all in there somewhere.
When our parents were younger, it was like, I'm quitting my job to follow Ozzy Osbourne on tour, and now
Right.
it's like I'm quitting my job to follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe
It's the
and
same thing.
the rest because I can't follow it
That
without
is
this.
rough.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I have to bring this up. This is not like newsworthy, but I saw this and I was just shocked. So I was looking at the listing of pop figures coming out, and they have a music series. There is a Kurt Cobain pop figure coming out, and I was like, that just seems like the
That's
complete
just wrong.
opposite of anything that Kurt Cobain would have stood for.
So many terrible jokes come to my mind.
Oh my god! Believe my
Is this pre-suicide Kurt
Oh,
Cobain,
no.
or is
One
this
of-
post-suicide
Yes,
Kurt
one of my
Cobain?
associates was like, "Does he have a hole in his head?
That's what I thought. Was the
Does
first
he
thing
come
I
with a
thought of.
shotgun attachment?"
Because I think that would be what Kurt Cobain would want his pop toy to look like if he was like, "You're gonna have a pop toy made of you in 2018." He'd be like, "I want it to look like this." Pow.
Yeah, I was shocked. They're also making like Jerry Garcia and a couple other weird ones. I don't know. Yeah,
That's insane.
Funko, what are you doing over there? They're doing a whole Buffy line too.
I'm down with that.
I had somebody ask me about Buffy Pops, and literally, I felt like 10 minutes. It was probably like a day later. I looked them up, and I was like, "Why, God?
Why, God?
Why did I not know this yesterday?"
Just a huge
So
list.
there's not a lot of us who are playing this game. I know, Charlie, you were intending to. However, there's this little game that came out this year called Destiny 2.
Oh yeah, I never
So-
revisited that after that first mission. Now that I have a new headset, maybe I'll try again.
Well, this thing happened this week where...
Except it's like down. It's probably down. The servers are down tomorrow or something.
Well, one of their users realized that the amount of XP that they were supposed to be getting wasn't quite matching up with the results they thought they were getting. So they quantified literally everything and posted it on the internet, as one would do.
Thank God I waited.
And they proved that Bungie had been lying about how much experience was giving for all the raids. And the end game has been kind of controversial. And people have realized that they've been getting far less XP than they were supposed to.
It's hilarious.
So they had this event planned out. This was 3 separate articles that played out throughout the week. When people realized this, the fan pushback was substantial.
Right?
They had this event where they were going to do
Game of the year.
streaming of this streaming of this new event or a new raid that was going to unlock or whatever it was. They had to cancel it because people were so pissed at them. Then they eventually came out and said like, "Hey, this guy is right. It wasn't intentional. It was a glitch in the game. We knew the glitch was there. We didn't know the effects, something to that nature." And basically it took them about 5 days to come out and be like, "Yes, you were lied to. Not intentionally. Everything you've been doing has been getting significantly less XP than you were supposed to. We're sorry. Also, we're thinking about offering this guy a job."
Whoa.
But it took 3 separate news cycles, and one of them was
It's like I can do better.
Destiny cancels like all streaming events due to fan backlash. And I was like, this shit just got real. Like, these people are fucking pissed.
It's kind of hilarious.
So I was following this all week, like, I wonder how quickly this will resolve itself. And even though they've said that, I don't know if a lot of the people are getting back on. However, there was
It was
someone...
just a mistake.
What's funny to me is people were writing in like, "I'll never play this game again." And it was on one of the
right.
live shows I was listening to. They looked up his username, and he was literally playing it after he wrote that in. And then he mailed in
That's
again the
fucking
next day and was like,
hilarious.
"I am a liar. I'm hopelessly addicted." And I'm just like, that's so
I wish
fucking
I knew
funny.
how to quit you.
Right? It's like I took a minute off from the game to go ahead and complain and say that I was never going to play again, and then I got back on the game.
That's hilarious.
That sounds like all those fake lies that I tell myself, like, back in the day, like, "I swear to God, I'll never play Madden again." And then 10 minutes later, I'm playing again. So,
It's like me last week. Like, this is the last time I'll ever drink caffeine. Yeah, right.
never happens.
Yeah.
There's another controversial story this week. I'm not going in order, just because I don't know what number this is on our news. But it's my favorite story of the week.
Who got molested?
No molestering on this one.
Molestering?
This is the events as they transpired.
Was it good touch or bad?
It was good touch and bad touch. So, the first story that was reported was that Epic Games, who are the creators of Fortnite, were suing a 14-year-old in court for
I
cheating.
did see that.
And everyone was like, "What is wrong with Epic Games? Why would you do this?" And the press behind it was all negative, like, "Why would you do that?" And then the
To
kids...
ruin children. That's
and then
right.
the kid's mom came forward, and she was like, "Well, in your end-user license agreement, it says that anyone who's under the age of 18 has to have their parents' permission to play this game online," which he did not have. And then she listed, like, also, in our state, it's illegal to expose the name of someone you're suing if that person is a minor. So I'm filing countersuit. So the kid's mom came to his defense, and hey, shout out to all the badass moms out there who defend their kids, even when behind closed doors you're like, "Are
She
you
read the
fucking
user
stupid?"
agreement.
Yeah.
That's fucking genius.
But here's the thing that I'm going to take a hardline stance on this story, because this is what actually happened. This fucking kid downloaded and may or may not have been part of creating a aimbot to cheat the game,
Wow.
which is why they were suing him. Then he posted a video online of his results of cheating the game and encouraged people and gave them links to download the exact same mod to cheat the game. Then he was contacted by Epic Games and told, "Take down the video." And he told them, "No, go fuck yourself." And they said, "Okay, this violates our terms of conditions, which you've agreed to. We'll see you in court." And then the media picked it up, and they're like, oh, Epic Games suing a kid. It's like, this is the normal progression of events if you break the law. So when people are like, how are they suing a 14-year-old? I've played a lot of games. Playing online, you're always wondering if that person who shoots you somehow from behind the wall is cheating or not. So I'm taking the hardline stance of, fuck that kid.
Yeah, dude.
Take his ass to court.
Yeah,
I
Cheaters,
personally
yeah.
downloaded ClickBots before for games.
What is that?
Where it, like, if you want to get into a dungeon or something like that, you have this program that auto clicks and clicks really fucking quickly so you can be the first one in.
But that's different from actually, like, snapping your reticle to guide on the other person's head, so every shot you fire is a
Fingers
headshot.
so warm.
Thank you. I have been cheated on a lot of games,
Yeah,
so I'm saying this is what they should do.
I don't think they should. Like,
Drag this kid to court,
Yeah.
throw the fucking book at him, be like, here's everything we can charge you with, and then literally throw a book at him and hit him in the face and record it and put it on YouTube.
This is my whole thing. Is like, I don't know.
Like real life
I'm
aimbot.
interested to see the whole like. I didn't give him permission. Like, you gave him an Xbox, you gave him Xbox Live, and you just let him go out on the internet and do whatever the fuck he wanted, evidently.
Yeah.
So you gave him as much permission as he needed.
It's like, so what you're saying is he not only cheated and technically broke the law, he also defrauded the game maker and stating that he had your permission before he played
Yeah.
by agreeing to the end user license agreement.
Like, all she had to do is step in and be like, look, man, maybe they didn't do a great thing, but you cheated on a game and you told them to fuck off when they had every right to ask you to
He
not
didn't
do
just
the thing.
cheat, though, too.
He cheated, he recorded it, he edited the
And
video,
was like-
he promoted it.
Cheated.
Yeah.
Then they asked him, please take this down, and he told them to fuck off. Because 14-year-olds think they can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, if the kid's a cheater and wants to act like a fucking prick, fuck that kid. I want this kid taken down.
Yeah.
I don't care. I've been cheated by too many fucking little... This is for
You know
every
what?
person that's ever been told by a kid that hasn't hit puberty yet that they fucked your mom. Do this for us, Epic Games. Take this kid down.
And truth be told, he'll probably come out of this with like 1 million YouTube subscribers or something.
Yeah. Without a doubt. It's
Yeah.
going to happen.
He's going to
But
be famous on the interwebs.
I was so happy when I was
Yeah,
listening to
Gonna have to
podcasts.
catch him outside. Catch him outside.
I hate you.
I completely agree with you. Fuck cheaters. Sorry, kid. I think
Yeah.
kids are...
Coddled
Parent-
too much?
Yeah, and parents always believe their kids and defend their kids, and I get that. And if I was a parent, I'd probably understand it more. But, like, it's like, I always tell you guys that story of that mom that, like, her kid got banned.
Oh, I remember.
And she was like, he got banned for nothing. And I was like, they don't ban you for nothing. And I was like, how do you know he didn't do anything? And she was like, because he looked at me and said, Mama, I didn't do anything, when I asked him what he did.
And he had already been banned.
Yeah.
Multiple
And I was
times
like,
before for
okay,
swearing.
that's not a thing. Your kid's just
and,
lying to you.
Like, all this, like, ridiculous behavior online that had gotten his account banned. And at that time, I think their IP got banned, right?
I don't
That
remember.
no
I
Xbox
think
that they
their
were playing on.
system- Yeah, their system and then their IP got banned.
Yeah, it's like, so your kid, who's maybe
That's
10,
amazing.
has been banned permanently from Xbox Live, and his defense was, Mama, I didn't do anything.
And she was like, he's innocent.
It's like, dude, my parents, man, if I would have gotten a copyright strike and I told these people to go fuck themselves, and then it hit national news, like, so Mom and Dad, I'm being sued, my parents would have beat my ass and made me take down the video and then
Yeah.
made me apologize, because that's what you normally do.
Yeah.
So it's like they would have defended me and been like, hey, you shouldn't treat my kid like this. However, my kid's kind of a fucking prick, and I'm ashamed he's a cheater.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, that mom is going to have... She can use her agreement all she wants, but because of the video and because there's more than likely proof of the message he sent, she's got no ground to stand on at that point.
I
Like,
it's going to
say-
be all technicalities.
because I
and
gave him this
bullshit.
I
chance.
say get out of it, lady, before you're paying the legal fees of
Oh
a
my
giant
God,
corporation.
right?
That's what's going to wind up happening. if they're
That
not
will be his
careful.
college
Just
fund.
take down the
Hopefully he's
fucking
smart
thing.
enough to survive.
Take it down, apologize, say you'll never cheat again. That kid will definitely cheat again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if I was Epic Games, I would
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
I would file a lawsuit, go through it like you normally would,
I would IP
unless they
ban him.
came back and they're like, we're sorry, we took it down. And then I would literally, like, let him back in the game, and I would develop a program specifically to fuck this kid over, where every bullet he shot never hit anyone, and just ruin the experience for him and be like, we're allowed to alter the game and the game experience however we want.
Right.
Just to be like, so, yeah, fuck you. Like, you shouldn't have done this to us.
Put his name in the user
So
agreement.
funny. But yeah, getting off the hilarious controversial topics, we'll run through some final pieces of additional news kind of quick here. They did announce Civilization 6 Rise and Fall will be coming out February 8th, 2018. It's kind of amazing the game's being announced at the end of November, and it'll be out in less than 3 months. But for Civ fans, I have never played a Civ game, I've heard really good things on them, but you won't have to wait long for your next one. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG as we call it, is going to be heading to mobile phones. It's going to be a completely separate team that will develop the app, but somehow it will be available to download on your phone very soon.
So
We'll keep you posted on that. There's not many details aside from the announcement that it's going to happen. This is another thing that kind of hit the news cycle from CNBC. They reported it out of context, of course, because why keep it in context? But the headline reads, EA's Day of Reckoning is here after Star Wars game uproar. $3 billion in stock value wiped out.
Wow.
And basically over the course of several days, the stock was sold so much that the value of the stock dropped over $3 billion in several days. However, they failed to report that between January and now, the overall for the stock is up several $100 million still.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did
People
lose
went
quite a
back
bit
to it.
recently, but overall they're still doing quite well for the year.
Yeah.
Are stocks affordable for normal people to buy?
They probably are. I
Probably, yeah.
mean, just one share typically doesn't cost you more than
Nintendo stock is trading at like $415 right now a
Nintendo
share.
shares have gone through the fucking
Yeah,
roof this
dude,
year.
It is nuts.
I
Although,
skipped that analytical
I mean, the stock
article.
market's down in general right now, so
It's up and down. It's technically way up for the year, though.
yeah. No, I mean
So-
currently, like this last week, it's been down.
All right, this is one for
Because of
Robin.
Russia.
I know she's been waiting for this because this is one of her favorite Disney movies. But the live action actress for Mulan has been cast. It is actually a Chinese actress by the name of.
Oh, Liu Yifei.
She is very much a spot on.
She looks
look
really
alike
pretty.
for Mulan. She's been in quite a bit. And I gotta say, it's nice to see that they're not going to try and terribly whitewash the movie.
this shit? Yeah.
Because that's kind of just something that happens constantly. But it's kind of cool to see representation. I'm still interested to see the casting for Aladdin come out because that was one of my favorites growing up.
I love Aladdin.
So we'll see. Titular hero has been cast, so check that out. That was where I had the Epic Games story, which still makes me laugh. Final Fantasy 15 is still going to be receiving more DLC and episodes in 2018.
It's crazy.
I think it's hilarious. This game was in development for a full decade, and they're like, we just can't get enough of making shit for Final Fantasy 15.
Like one more decade.
Let's keep supporting it. So,
I just
Yeah.
want that Monsters of the Deep.
You guys
Yeah.
need to call Sony about stuff.
stiff.
Your VR.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I totally need to do
For-
that. I'll probably do it never because I'm lazy, but we'll see. And the last piece of additional news. This is kind of cool because this game's been in development forever. DayZ.
Yeah, I put
is
this in here.
Finally. Oh, you can do it then.
Okay. I was just amazed because according to this article, it's been in early access on Steam since 2013.
What?
And it is
Yeah.
finally ready to leave early access. So it's going to be out of early access. Let's see if it says here.
Just 2018 is all I saw.
Yeah, 2018, and then they're going to start doing a beta for console versions.
And that'll be in beta for around 10 years, I think. So
Yeah, so it's kind of ridiculous. People have literally been asking about this game on console like forever.
one of
I
the
swear.
first conversations I had with a customer. When you work retail, you will have customers who want to engage you in conversations for hours on end. And when you're an innocent noob, you don't realize that. And one of the first conversations I got drawn into like that was some guy telling me about DayZ. And I remember looking over at Charlie because she had just hired me, and she was making the like "get out now"
I'm
face.
like, should I go into the back and pretend to call the phone?
So I was just like, "Oh, I'll just stop talking," and eventually he'll leave, which he did after like half an hour. So
Could have been worse.
could have been worse. But yeah, that's everything for additional news. Huge news week. Lots happened. Lots of controversial stuff. Merry early Christmas, everyone. So we're going to get into our main topic now,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
us going around the table
This is
and just letting you guys know what we think so far has been the biggest news story in the world of nerd throughout the year. So I know Charlie's done a ton of research on hers. Did you want to start, or did you want me to pick someone else that's not as prepared?
Please
Like,
start because I am not prepared. My
Dibs on
no.
last.
I will go first.
I'll go second.
Yay.
CJ said dibs on last. Robin can file her nails
So,
a little bit longer.
Hopefully I won't like ruin any of your guys' ideas, but I have a couple of honorable mentions. I was thinking a lot about this, and the first couple of things that came to mind were the Mass Effect series getting canceled.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty crazy that we killed the franchise this year.
Good job, fans of Mass Effect.
Yes.
You
Good
complained
job,
enough where it
gamers.
Yep.
Woo.
I can't remember what my other honorable mention was. Anyways, I settled on fake reviews.
Fake reviews.
I wasn't sure whether to go with something we had used for our main topic or whether we should go with something that just was news.
I steered out of the main topic territory because there was some stories where we talked about it and then it grew and grew and grew.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't go back to it because we're like, everyone's covering it. We've already covered it.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
It's like fake reviews was kind of a thing when we talked about it, and now it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we've had subsequent
Yeah, now it's huge.
articles about fake reviews, and like every website is struggling with this. Every game that has any kind of controversy, like I bet there are fake reviews for Destiny now,
Yep,
and
almost guaranteed.
whatchamacallit, Fortnite. Like I bet all of these games, like any game that has any kind of controversy.
I would leave 100% and I'd put my review as, yeah, fuck that kid. So, it's fake review, but I don't care.
Amazon has fake review problems.
Oh
and
my
they have
god, but the Amazon
forever.
ones are so funny.
Well, some of them are funny, and some of them are just like
Brutal?
No, and some of them are fake, like completely fake, like people just making their product seem better than it is, or so yeah.
Glassdoor has those now too. Like
Great.
some of the HR people's responsibilities are to go to Glassdoor and post fake reviews of the company
Wow.
to increase the rating. I was reading this article about it when I was looking over my company's ratings,
It's great.
and I was like, these all seem legit. Like these are actual issues. Like when you go to the cons, and then like you notice that like several of them have like repeated themes in them. I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then you look at other sites or other employers' reviews, and it's like they all seem copy and pasted. It's very weird.
In some of my searches for information on fake news, there is a WikiHow on how to spot a fake review on Amazon.
Wow.
It's an 11-step process with pictures. If you
Oh my
feel like you
God.
need that in your life. So that's kind of ridiculous, especially in a time where we rely on the internet so heavily.
Yeah, for everything.
It's pretty terrible. We're going to get to a point where we actually have to play things and use things to know how they work instead of just reading everyone else's opinion.
Yeah, or just find a reviewer that you trust on
These
a
are dark
review
times.
website and just
Well, they'll probably get
follow
accused
them.
of sexually assaulting someone
That's
and
true.
go to jail or have to leave the public eye.
Well, it's like-
That was my real big story of the year, but that has nothing to do with games.
The touchy-feely people that have been touchy-feely for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Too many of them. Yeah. Jason Schreier, the best writer for Kotaku, just released his review for Xenoblade Chronicles. He rated it lower than everyone else, and he's been like targeted on Twitter by Xenoblade fans who are like, "You're a piece of shit. Why the fuck did they even have you review this game?" And it's like, so you get a real review from someone who gives opinions and then backs them up with fact and examples, and you shit all over him. Like, hardcore. So he was just retweeting stuff that they were tweeting at him, like, this is why reviewers hate the general public. So,
That's
that is
fair.
interesting.
Yeah, so I think for me that was something that's big and that they need to somehow curtail. We need to find some way to work around. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to change.
I'm avoiding aggregate review websites.
They're going
like
to
the
have to
plague.
do like official, like they're going to have to start like vetting people before they let them leave reviews and banning. Like they're going to have people who just sift through reviews and
Just delete them.
yeah, otherwise your website's going to be worthless.
Yeah, I think they already are. I haven't checked Rotten Tomatoes for a lot of stuff in a very long time. I've never checked Metacritic unless
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
don't check Metacritic at all.
unless it's something where everyone's saying the same thing, and I'm like, oh, I want to see how high it is, or I want to see how low it is.
I
So
pretty
I
much
just don't trust stuff.
I only look at Metacritic when I'm like, someone asks me how something is and I don't know anything, so I'm just like, let's Google this. I'm just like, reviews
can-
of this, and then I show
Metacritic
them.
always
Use
right
the old
there.
GameStop
All this.
employee line. My friend really likes this. Where it's like, you don't have friends. And you don't know anyone who's played this game.
But yeah, that's something that I thought was pretty nuts. What about you, Adam?
My news story of the year, because it's been gone back to so many fucking times throughout the year, is loot boxes. There's ways that you can do loot boxes and there's ways you can't. And I think that what you've seen over the entire year, from beginning of the year to the end, is just an increase in the way people are trying to work in corporate greed. And there's one thing to say for like a game like Clash Royale that I've probably put at this point close to 100 hours of playing between when I used to play it and when I'm playing it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've spent some money on it before. I'm not spending any money on it now, but that's my choice. Versus something like with Star Wars Battlefront, where the progression system without pay to win was fine, and I was okay when everyone was complaining like, it'll take me so long to unlock this shit, and someone just paid $100 and they have Darth Vader already, and that's not fair. Well, yeah, you know what? That isn't fair. That's
Life's
fucking
not fair.
bullshit. But I'm still gonna play it. And enough people came out and they're like, this isn't fair. Like, people that want to just pay extra money, like, that's what the developer wants. The developer doesn't want a fair online experience because they don't give a shit about you. I shouldn't say developer, I should say publisher, but developers aren't completely innocent from this either. And they've tried to take the cell phone model of, let's charge people for additional content or shortcuts to the content that they want. And they're also putting it into a game that you paid $60 for.
I think that it's been a weird year for it. I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, ultimately, I don't think anyone should be able to pay to win. But at the same time, this is the Grand Theft Auto method, you know? Like, that's not pay to win, but it's a thing where they don't charge you for real DLC add-ons. They just charge you for money in the game, and they've been wildly successful. And I think that's why people are doing it in a way.
Right.
Because people... The general public is tired of paying for map packs and DLC and feeling like they bought half of the game now and half of it later. But this is the counter argument, because there's got to be some way for these people to keep making money on their games if you want to continue to have support.
It's so expensive to develop a game now.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
prices of games have not gone up in like a decade. Well, probably less than that, but probably like 5 years.
I think you're right with a decade. Like the Xbox 360 generation.
No, I think a decade
Yeah.
is
when
pretty
that
close.
started, they kind of just all sat down like, so 60? Everyone good with 60? Okay, cool.
Has
And
it
even nowadays,
been a decade? I thought they
Well, the Xbox One and the PS4 have been out for almost 4 years now.
yeah, 2013.
So
didn't it used to be like 50.
It depends.
$2.99 and now it's like $59.
that's probably
Nintendo
no, I
64 cartridges range
Since I
between $40 and $90.
in video games. It's been $60 for a new game, so that's been 7 years. Because I'm old.
Yeah, super old.
Getting old.
5-6 years younger than me. I fucking hate you guys.
But yeah, it's been a long time, and they tried to test market it when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, and that's why we got more expensive accessories, is because they weren't having it with games, but they could make it work with accessories.
I think the model right now that they have is like, if you're playing a cell phone game, the cell phone game is free.
Yeah.
So if you want to invest money into it, people look at it from a perspective of, I really like this game. I haven't paid a dime for it. I don't feel that bad spending a little bit of money on it because of how much fun
Yeah,
I've gotten
that's
out of it.
different.
But when you, like, I'll use the original Battlefront as a for instance. You bought the game, then you bought the map packs through the season pass. And now with Battlefront 2, you're buying the game, and they're going to add more content into it. But at the same time, like, to unlock that content, if you want to pay a little bit of extra money, you will destroy everyone. And yeah, there's stuff built into the game where you can't unlock that character as easily. But it is very frustrating when you're trying to take a model that works for cell phones, because the game is free, and apply it to a game that people have already paid money for.
I'm just not 100% sure how to resolve this, because
I think the way to resolve it is impossible, which is raise the price of fucking games.
my whole thing, though, is, like, some games people are understanding of it. Like, Fallout. Fallout's a huge game on its own, so the DLC is worth it. Skyrim. Skyrim is a huge game on its own. DLC it's fine. People don't mind spending some more money on it. Or
Witcher
like
3 or Zelda.
Zelda. Yeah, Zelda's a huge game. People are like, $20 for the expansion pass. I'll do it. So how do you... What rules do you apply that make it even across the board? Like Call of Duty, you get 12 maps to start with, I think, roughly. And then you have your storyline, which is pretty short. Is that fair to have a $50 season pass still? Would people prefer to have free maps and pay for, extra weapons and stuff? I don't know. It's hard to make a blanket rule because there are so many different types of games. And then what about a game like Overwatch, where they don't charge you for maps, but they charge you for loot boxes?
See, Overwatch to me is
but
the
all
way...
they have is multiplayer.
Is the way you're supposed to do it, which is, here's the game. We're going to add in new characters. We're going to add in new maps. You will never pay a dime. However,
Skins,
we're going to
poses,
have
dances.
a million different things that are absolutely 100% cosmetic to this game that you can pay money to get, or you can just play the game. And they make tons of fucking money off people buying those loot boxes, but they don't alter or affect the gameplay whatsoever. Gameplay stays the exact same no matter what you're doing. It's all cosmetic, and it's like, if you want people to adjust like how they're playing the game based off of whether or not someone else is paying money, you change someone's experience, they're not going to want to keep playing it, and then you're not going to make as much money. Unless it's just a bunch of sharks playing against each other, which they're not going to want to do.
It could separate the lobbies. Like, these people paid for things. These people didn't.
It'd be very interesting to see how they could do that. Like,
That would be interesting.
Or like limit what, if they did that, like limit what you could use, like what armor or powers or abilities you can use. Like, this is like basic lobby and this is...
Or it's kind of like maps, where if your friends don't, or the people you're playing with all have that map, or they all, but then no one would want to buy things anyways. If like everyone on this map has this weapon that
Yeah.
you have, and you can only
This
play
is-
with people that
Yeah.
have the weapon.
This debate is why I'm picking this as my story of the year, because like I don't think there's a good answer for this at all, and the answer that's the most obvious, no one's willing to go forward with, which is like, it's like, hey, the country's broke, we're getting broker, we want our taxes cut. How the fuck does that make sense? I don't know, just make it happen. It's like the games are getting more and more expensive
Take
to
the money
develop.
from the poor people.
The developers themselves, the lives that they lead are horrible. They work 12 to 16
Yeah.
hours sometimes to push a game out. They sometimes don't get their final paychecks. Sometimes they, like the developer for that Marvel game that just got shut down like a couple weeks ago, they came in, they're like, we have no money to pay you your last paycheck. We're also not paying you out your paid time off that you've all accrued, and you have to leave the building right now.
Wow.
It's like, thank you for everything you've done. Goodbye.
The only thing that truly annoys me about this subject, maybe it's because I don't have a lot of experience being like, hey, that's not fair, but people that are just now like realizing this and paying attention to it just annoy the shit out of me. I get so tired of talking to people who are like, you see all this new stuff? I'm like, it's not new.
Yeah, this is an old argument.
not
It's an
new.
old news story.
Where have you been? And they're like, yeah, I guess EA, and I'm not an EA fan, but like EA is the devil, and they're like burning people at the stake. I don't
Right?
know.
They have an abortion-breathing dragon they're flying around on. It's fucking crazy. I've hated EA
yeah,
for
that's
this,
frustrating.
like, unlock the full content bullshit since Madden. Back when I lived at my parents' house. That's how long
For
they've
a
been doing
long
it. Since I
time.
could connect my game to the internet, basically.
People decided to take their head out of the sand and
When they came out with EA
good
Game Pass or whatever, I
better
was
late
like,
than never, I guess. Oh yeah, you remember that? People still ask me about that. They're like, "Do you still have to pay like extra money to?" I'm like, "No, that was really unpopular, just like everything else that company does, and they quit doing it."
They look at everything from a business perspective of, none of the people making these decisions play games or understand the gaming market, but we're going to make decisions on how we can make money. And then once there's backlash, they're like, okay, we'll change it. It's like, well, maybe you should just get someone to check your decisions or have someone else make them for you
Video
regarding
games,
how you're going to handle that.
video games are just such a big business now that it's going to be a thing.
I think next year is going to be a pretty big year in terms of how the gaming industry is going to deal with pay to win. I feel like it's in the forefront right now, and someone's going to come up with the idea to stop it or come up with an idea to integrate it to where it doesn't absolutely
And then
ruin
EA
their
will
game.
exploit that, and they'll get yelled at. And then,
Yep.
I forgot my other honorable mention was net neutrality because that's still huge, but that's just recent.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it
So,
really is.
We'll see what happens with that. Everyone was talking about it last week, so it was nice to see like all the live shows and all the podcasts I listened to, all bringing it up. And regardless of where anyone's aligned on any spectrum whatsoever, they're like, tell your congressmen and your senators that they better fucking not repeal net neutrality because it's a good thing. So we'll see where that goes. But the loot box one is just fascinating to me. It's just like, you're trying to get me to give you more money to get something I can get with a little bit of patience. And like, even playing Clash Royale, when I play 2 versus 2s, it's like, people have so much better cards than I do. They have no idea what they do. It's like, this card is a counter to this other card. Let me toss it out there and watch it die instantly. Oh, I lost another game. And you don't acquire that knowledge without playing the game. So it's like, so you just bought your account, and now you're just going out there, and you have no idea what's happening, and you're getting your ass kicked a whole bunch. Hey, but at least you gave them $50, $60, maybe $100 to level up that quick. Like,
It's insane.
it's not a gaming experience to me. It's like, it's bizarre. But yeah, that's my story of the year, is the loot box thing. We'll see where it goes, since the government's starting to get a little bit involved with whether or not it's gambling, which will be another topic I'm sure we'll bring up yet again in the year of 2018.
So, you guys want to rock, paper, scissors for lasty?
I'm just gonna say that I think mine would be the power of the fans this year, because not only have they ruined EA's new game, but they've ruined people's lives, like that Colin dude from Kind of Funny.
That's
like,
true.
fans just ruin things.
So you're doing multiple stories of the year.
Well, I'm just gonna do an all over general
the good, the bad, the
power
ugly
of the fans.
power of people who get together.
Like, this year has just been crazy how insane. I don't remember other years being that intense where fans have gone to lengths to ruin huge companies like EA or anything.
What I think is interesting about it is I don't think they do it initially to ruin it. I think they do it initially to bitch. Like, maybe with Battlefront, they're like, we want this to stop, but like Mass Effect, like Charlie's topic,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that was them being like, let's all ridicule this because it's not as good as we want it to be, but was by no means a bad game. And it's like, well, you just killed that franchise.
Well, it's just like Thanos. Like, how will that shape out with him looking ridiculous? Like,
Marvel probably doesn't give a shit.
well, you know,
Marvel's like they're at the point where they think they're too big to fail until they make enough decisions that piss off the fans.
I feel like we are getting to a point where public outcry weighs in, and that is getting kind of crazy. It's weird because I feel like maybe in the past there wasn't as much of a reaction, but it's every big news article this year almost has had like a public outcry backlash or like something. It's kind of crazy. I agree with her that it's a crazy thing that's happening this year.
Yeah, it's weird to see, and it's like, why isn't there public outcry where
It's
everyone
like-
shows up like, this is awesome?
All of a sudden we're scrubbing people out of pop culture because of stuff, and we're shutting down game series
Yeah,
because
it's
of things,
fucking
And studios.
we're ruining people's careers because of things.
Yeah, the kind of funny thing was my runner-up, because I know there's not a lot of people who...
Just sad.
It's not as impactful as EA losing $3 billion in a couple of days, but just seeing a fan base cannibalize itself. Like, one thing happened, and it was just like... It was insane how quickly it had exploded, and it didn't explode because of the content of what was said. It exploded because of the fan reaction.
Yeah.
And literally everyone involved was trying to be like, let's be reasonable about it. Let's be reasonable about this. And even the fan reaction to those people, and then the fans reacting to each other, was incredibly difficult to watch. I literally stopped watching Kind of Funny for a couple months before I'm like, I can't even go back to this. Just because, like, everything in the comments, everything in the chat, that was all just horrible vitriol between people that had never met each other, that have the guise and the anonymity of the internet where you can just talk shit. And it's like, that is not always a good thing. Like, yeah, it's freedom of information and bringing everyone together, but when you bring everyone together, you have to understand a lot of people are fucking pricks. That's why I'm like, 14-year-old acts like a fucking prick, take him to court. Like, do what you can to fix this human being in a court of law. So, that said, CJ, topic of the year, what do you got?
Mine would probably have to be the end of the video game voice actor
yeah.
strike.
That was very big.
I was excited to see
I
it.
did not even
So-
realize this happened.
Really?
You were on the
Yeah.
episode where we talked about
Oh, really? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, happened back in September, so it wasn't too long ago. There were a lot of people that, some big names that you would know from your single player games that were impacted by this. So, and it's just nice to know that at least for, I think it was a 4-year deal, so they're going to be protected by, I don't know all the things that went into it, but they're now protected. They're going to be getting the money that they deserve because, let's face it, if their voices weren't in the game, it would not be as exciting, I would have.
No, when you have bad voice acting, like Peter Dinklage in Destiny, everyone's like, oh my god, what a
my
great casting.
goodness, it was horrible.
And then his voice acting was terrible. Like, it became like an internet sensation. Like, this is how bad this is. So when you have great voice actors, it changes the experience.
Yeah, I just saw a thing about Ashley Birch going back to whatchamacallit? Life is Strange, because she was Chloe Fraser, and she didn't appear in the game because this last year because of that voice acting strike.
Right.
So
Yeah, she just consulted the person that took her spot, but
Good
now
for
she'll
them.
be back.
And you can still go vote for the Game Awards, which is
Yay.
coming up this week.
Yes.
December 4th? 6th?
I believe it's 7th, actually.
7th, 8th?
Uh,
December 8th.
The
You can vote
off
once a
day.
day for every category, so
go
feel
vote
free
for
to go
Ashley
and vote.
Birch.
So,
Day before we record, so it's perfect
that's
timing.
terrible
I
timing.
was gonna say that's awful timing.
We might need to delay our recording until after the show so that we can actually provide results. But we'll figure that out for you guys. No need to worry, folks.
Yeah.
We got that shit. So,
All right.
it's been a big year. It's been
Been
a
a
lot
very
that's
big
happened. 2017 has been a tumultuous year for everything. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking at a perspective of, like, I'm a gamer and I don't pay attention to drama, you got tons of amazing titles, a brand new Nintendo console that's selling like fucking hotcakes, a new Zelda that's amazing, maybe the best Zelda ever, a new Mario that's amazing, maybe the best Mario ever, a new Assassin's Creed, maybe the best Assassin's Creed ever, Wolfenstein, just down across the board of every major franchise except ones that we can look forward to in 2018. So,
Yeah, I think next year's going to be huge. I feel like that every year maybe, but this next year really is like pretty crazy.
Next year is definitely
Red
going
Dead
to be a fun
2.
year.
Dragon Ball
God of War.
Fighters, which I'm Super excited
hate
for.
you.
I'm
Monster
realizing
Hunter.
the imports that I've gotten have either been
Monster Hunter.
Oh my god, it's gonna be big. So I'm excited for 2018, but we'll see what the big dramatic stories are next year.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Can someone actually make Switch hotcakes? Like just
A hot cake that looks like a Switch,
yeah, just a stack of them.
or a Switch that you can eat like a hot cake.
No, oh, that'd be cool too.
I'll pour some syrup on my Switch and we'll figure out how we can do this. But cool.
Don't eat the chips.
Yeah,
All right.
we know how
Well,
it
you
ends.
see
Just
so
don't
many
lick the
people making
cartridges.
all that pancake art. Come on, make a
I feel like a
Switch.
bunch of that is fake. Some of it's real, but some of it I'm like, I feel like you went to flip it and then you just like threw Mona Lisa down on your pan. It's like, oh, look at that. It's crazy. So, anyways, this has been episode 48 of the Nerd Chills podcast. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can email us at nerdchills@nerdchills.net. You can tweet at us at nerd_chills. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdchillspodcast. Charlie just blinked a million times and really threw me off. That is a Facebook page, not a Facebook group. Don't say Facebook group or Robin will yell at you. If you want to reach out to me, it's at the Adam Diaz. If you want to email me at the show, it's at Maylum, MAYLUM, at nerdchills.net. You can also follow me on Twitch if I ever stream, which I do sometimes. Stop blinking, Charlie. And that'll be Maylum, MAYLUM. CJ, your Call of Duty adventures, getting back into the level of professional tournaments. Folks wanted to follow you on that, whether it's Twitter or Twitch. Where can they find you?
Twitter and Twitch are both Sacred Infinity. I will be streaming in about probably 30 minutes.
If you have a time machine,
after,
listeners,
I want to
travel
do.
back to 9 o'clock.
I mean, no
Pacific
matter when
time.
they hear it,
We need to do
it'll probably
Overwatch.
I'm trying to think. Pause. I'll be streaming. After you listen, or when you're listening to this episode, I will be streaming probably all week. I'm going to try to do Monday through Friday.
Damn.
At
Get
least
that
3 hours a
affiliate
night.
status.
Yeah, dude.
Right now, I am averaging 6 viewers.
You're on
So
your own.
I need
at
one
this
more
point,
viewer.
I'm
I need
getting
to average
there.
one more viewer.
That's all I need
If
left.
I wanted
so
you to
keep jumping on.
If
Help
I
me out.
wanted you to transcribe it for me and create a word picture, what would you do? I could email you, perhaps.
Who are you talking to, B?
No, I'm talking to CJ.
I'm confused.
I'm trying to get him to say his email.
Confused. What?
Oh, okay.
Oh, and yeah. If you have any questions for me, or you just want to make fun of me because all I do is play Call of Duty because that's what Mystery do, you can
mostly
email
me.
me at sacredinfinity at
Adam's pretty
nerdchills.net.
Aye, that's true. I am very supportive of everyone. Cool. Charlie, if the fine folks want to ask you why you're so mean, where can they find you?
You could email me, charlie@nerdchills.net. And then you could also find me on Twitter. It's Charlie_NC as in Nerdchills. That's Charlie with an EY.
Cool. You're not mean. I'm just kidding about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Where does that cynicism come from?
Oh my god, meet my family.
Oh my god.
Look 'em
Your
up.
family are all wonderful, lovely people. So at
You
least
don't
to
know
me,
all of 'em.
that's true. I don't know all of them. Robin, where can the fine folks find you?
At every social media outlet at the Robin Grace, and my shop is Robin's Quiet Corner.
She's making very cute octopi.
She's
I'm
making,
making very cute octopi.
so many of them. So please go
and
buy
some
a dozen.
septipi.
Some septipi maybe included.
But
So-
can you make cute little Cthulhus?
That's
She was talking
what
about that
I'm
yesterday.
gonna try and make Cthulhu's with the little things.
Crocheted Cthulhu.
That would be adorable.
So this has been episode 48. Thank you guys for listening. Last episode was our highest downloaded episode ever,
Yes,
far and
thank
away.
you.
You guys are great. We appreciate that. Keep sharing it. Keep doing the word of mouth with your friends. And we will see you next week. So you guys take a chill pill.
Bye.